ahead and get started. We can just find a comfortable cross-legged position. And take a moment here to settle in. To feel the body here in this moment. Feeling our sit bones, rooting and grounding down to the mat, the blanket. Relaxing the shoulders while keeping the spine nice and long. Welcoming our whole person, our whole body, and our inner being to this sacred pause from life. Notice your breath. Notice the movement of the body as the breath moves it naturally. Notice the breath coming in through the nose and going back out through the nose. Let's take a moment here to set an intention for the practice. A resolve. What do you deeply long to fulfill through this time here on the mat? Perhaps it's to feel better physically, a little more mobile or flexible. Perhaps it's to feel more calm or at peace. To feel healthier or stronger. And turn that desire into a short phrase in the present tense or one word in the present tense. As if it has already happened. I am healthy and strong. I am mobile and flexible. Whatever it is, say it to yourself 3 times with gratitude. Envisioning in your mind's eye how this feels for it to be true. Release the intention, letting it rest in our heart space like a little seed of promise. Gently take a big breath in through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. One more in through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. If your eyes are closed, you can gently open them. Let's bring the arms and hands out to the sides and Let them float upwards, stretching in the upward direction. You can sway side to side, finding some length through the ribs. Let the wrists also gently move. You could even make some gentle wrist circles, or wiggle the fingers gently. And now, with the arms straight up, begin to only do wrist circles and gentle finger movements, and start to very slowly lower the arms as you do that movement. And maybe you can even bring in the shoulders and let the shoulders roll, exploring with the body as the arms flow downward. Wonderful. Let's bring the hands to heart center, touching palms. And we'll inhale deeply. As we exhale, press the hands together forward. Tuck your chin down, letting the spine go back. Inhale again. Open the arms really wide to either side, out to T. Expand the heart forward. Exhale, close back up, arms nice and long, palms touch, chin down. Inhale, open up again. Do this with your own breath a few times, taking it slow and easy. Perhaps taking a brief 1 second pause between those inhales and exhales. One more, open and close, no hurry to get there. Next time your palms come together, you can bring them back to heart center. Let the hands come down again. Do a little bit of shaking, releasing. Now let's stretch out the legs a little bit in a straddle position. And gently shake them. Do some ankle rolls here. Experiment with the rolls. They don't have to look any certain way. Just try to do things in both directions. You can also tick-tock the feet side to side. Spread the toes. Play with the toes. Perhaps hear things pop, and that's okay. Doing a little bit of releasing of things that are kind of stuck. Wonderful. Let's come back to center and plant the feet nice and wide. You can support yourself with the hands and tick-tock the knees. Back and forth, windshield wipers. And we'll bring the knees back to center. Have the blocks handy. You might like to use them for some support in a moment. We're going to keep the legs bent and the feet planted and adjust your seat so that you're not leaning back. See if you can bring the sit bones forward a little bit. We're going to find a bit of a forward fold here with the legs bent to start with. The arms can have different places to be. On the legs like this, underneath. You can hold underneath the thighs and knees. You can also set the hands down to the mat or bring those blocks in, at center and place your forearms on the blocks. And adjust here your legs where it works for you. There's no right or wrong as far as how wide or how narrow. We're asking the body to begin to release. A little bit in the hips, and then along the backs of the legs. Feel the breath coming in, going. Relax your head and your neck. Rest in this pause. This pause of simply being present in this moment with what you're doing in this moment. One more breath here. In and out. And slowly release the left leg nice and long. Keep the right bent. Notice the change. Notice the difference between the sides. And rest in the pause. Pausing for presence. Awareness, understanding, and space for the current experience. One more breath here. Now, support yourself. Bring the left leg back into a bent position, and now let's straighten the right. Switching sides. Scan your body for any places where there's extra tension being held. Think about your breath going there. One more breath here. And then you can sit back up. Release both legs nice and long here. And let's take a moment and bring the arms to either side and float them upward. Touch the palms and turn the palms to face up. And find a nice long stretch here. Reaching up. Feeling your spine gaining some space. And now let's release the fingers. We'll do those wrist circles as we bring the arms back down. You can even bring the the shoulders a little bit into it. And now we're gonna find a forward fold with both legs, nice and long. So let yourself simply surrender the heart forward. It's not about how far you reach. And again, you can always use blocks for the hands, the forearms, or even build them up and set your forehead to the blocks. Anytime your neck feels a little tense, you can always find gentle circles or side to side, up and down movements to release any tension that might build up. As we learn to pause here on the mat, we will learn the art of pausing out there in regular life. Paying attention gives more meaning to all aspects of our practice and of our life. Two more breaths here, nice and slow. Slowly begin to rise back up. Let's help one leg bend and the other. Set the hands down and tick-tock the knees again, side to side. Windshield wipers. And we'll transition onto our belly on the mat. So let's come on down. You'll have some options here. The mildest option for this position, to have a very slight back bend, would be crocodile. And we can bend the arms, stack the hands, and set the forehead down. The legs can be hips distance or wider apart. Wider apart creates less tension in the lower back. A little bit deeper sensation and back bend would be to go into Sphinx. So you come up on the forearms, that hands are planted or in a prayer position, and the pubic bone tilts down towards the mat. This will be a little bit more intense. And relax the neck. Settle and keep your gaze somewhat downward, rather than trying to strain the back of the neck looking up. We all have to listen and pay attention to our own bodies. Take care with the lower back. Adjustments with the legs, or notice if the pubic bone is getting kind of lazy and you're dropping down too far on the belly, creating a deeper back bend than your body prefers. tension. See if you can surrender a little more with every exhale. Allowing gravity to draw you down, to release. Relax the feet, legs. Relax along the spine. Notice the shoulders and how the shoulders are feeling. Stay with the pause, presence, awareness, understanding, and space for your experience. Paying attention gives more meaning to the practice. To life. Someone said that careful attention paid to anything is like a window into the universe. Pausing to anything is like a window into the universe. It makes life much more meaningful when we notice, when we take notice. One more breath here. Plant the hands back down to the mat if they're in another position. And slowly transition into a child's position. So come up onto the knees. Let's make our knees a little wider than the hips. And sink the hips down toward our heels. The big toes are like touching behind us. They're leaning towards one another, those big toes. And we surrender the heart and the forehead down to the mat. Feeling a gentle stretching along the upper thighs, the buttocks, spine, back area. The further the arms have walked outward and forward, the more stretchy that will feel along the shoulders, but take care with them not to go too far. Like to add a little deeper stretch along the triceps, you could bend the arms and make prayer hands behind the head or take the hands to the shoulders. Purely optional. If you don't like the way it feels, then go back to where you were with the arms. like your back could benefit for a little bit more rounding, then bringing the knees a little closer inward will round your spine a little bit more. We're pausing here to listen, to feel whatever we feel. There's no right or wrong. To be fully present with whatever the experience is bringing. Out there is often very noisy and lots of yelling all around us in one form or another. We can take time to pause from all of that and to listen for soft and gentle whispers of the heart, of the breath. One more breath here. And we'll bring the arms down if they're above our head or at our shoulders. Plant the hands. Let's come into tabletop for just a little bit. Bring the knees underneath the hips. The wrists underneath the shoulders. Spread your hands really wide for this tabletop. Gently drawing the belly button up toward the spine. Next inhale, you can begin some cat and cows. So cow, we drop the belly, bring the heart forward as we inhale, opening the chest. And cat, we tuck the chin down and send the spine upward for a nice big stretch. Inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. Keep your elbows soft. Try not to lock those elbows. You'll know if they're locked because the inner elbows will turn forward. And that's how we can know, oops, elbows locked. Keep the inner elbows more in the facing one another direction. And you can keep doing some cat and cows, or you can start doing some hip rolls, taking the hips to one side, rolling them around behind, above the heels, and coming around the other side. Next time you get back to center, take the rolls in the other direction. Feel that gentle stretching along the buttocks, into the thighs. And we'll all come back to center. And make your way to the mat. We're going to lay on our backside. Extend your legs nice and long and the arms up overhead. And on your next inhale, stretch actively. Reach out through the bottoms of the feet and out through your fingertips. And as you're ready to exhale, begin to let go of all the work that you're doing stretching and simply let the body go limp with the exhale. And next time your inhale comes, stretch, 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 lengthen. And when the exhale wants to release, release all of the effort. Do one more like this with your own breath. Now we'll reach for a block. Have it next to you. We're going to plant the feet back down to the mat so our legs are bent. And we're going to take this block and lift our hips and place it just underneath here. Find that flat area of the spine at the very end where it meets at the buttocks and set the block in that position. If for some reason it feels too hard on the spinal area, you can always bring in a blanket or a towel and set it on top of the block so it feels a little bit more cushiony. And now notice your feet, that they feel nice and even planted here to the mat. We're in this supported bridge position, inviting our hip flexors to release and let go. Some options for the arms. You can have them at the belly. You can simply surrender them downward to the floor, a ways away from the body or out to T, parallel with the shoulders. Or you can make cactus arms, goalpost arms. Bring them nice and long overhead. See what works for you best right now. For your shoulders, awareness to the front hips. Right above the legs begin. Perhaps you might feel the gentle drawing down of gravity. Inviting those hip flexors to release and surrender. Notice the rise and fall of your belly with every breath. Present with ease. Stay aware of your pause. pause can be especially beneficial when life gets difficult, when there's a difficult situation that has just occurred. Maybe a misunderstanding in a relationship. Our instinct is to immediately react. And yet if we pause in that space that we create, there is so much wisdom to be found to then respond in the best way, in a way that we won't later regret. Next minute, you're welcome to stay with the legs bent, or you can experiment allowing the legs to go long. Let them rest downward, nice and long. It will feel like a deeper stretch along those hip flexors. If it feels like too much, you'll know. And if it does, let the legs bend again. This is about staying connected to the body, not forcing anything. Slowly bend our legs again, plant the feet to the mat. Bring the arms downward if they were upward. Gently lift the hips and remove the block to the side. And once that's done, bring the knees in toward the chest or armpits. Find the knees to chest hug here, releasing the back bend. Maybe rocking side to side. And now we'll set the feet back down. Hips distance apart. Open the arms out to T. Let's pick up the right leg and then turn it so that the outside of the right ankle comes to the left thigh just below the knee, finding a figure 4 shape here with our legs. And perhaps this is far enough for you. If you'd like to go a little deeper into this hip opener, you can lift the left foot and start drawing that left knee toward your chest. The more you draw inward, the more you feel happening here on this right buttocks, hip side, and along the back right thigh. If you've lifted the left foot, you might find it helpful to support the left leg by bringing the right hand into the space between the legs and then setting the hand behind the right thigh and then taking the left hand and having it join there for support. Just keep those shoulders relaxed. Try not to be straining the neck, drawing upward with the head. Keeping that left foot down for the figure 4 is perfectly okay. Sometimes also taking the block underneath the left foot to provide only a small lift can be very nice. It gives you just a little bit more lift, but not too much. And it gives you support. Work with the body at every shape that we play with. Finding just the right edge of a little challenge, but still feeling some comfort. Practice the pause. When in doubt, we can pause and wait for clarity of mind. When we're tired, we can pause and give ourselves some rest. Now let's all have our left foot down to the mat. If you were using a block, just gently scoot it out from underneath the foot. We're still in our figure 4 shape. Let's bring our arms out to T. And take a big inhale. And as you slowly exhale, keep the figure 4 and let the foot and the knee fall further to the left side. It's like you're creating a twist with the spine. Nice and easy here. If this feels really strange, uncomfortable, or painful, you can release the right foot and simply stack the legs together in the same position. Nice and bent, and be in a twist in that way. Your gaze can be straight up to center, or you can play with your gaze being to the right, the opposite direction from the knees. Feeling. If you find your mind wandering away outside of this room to the past or the future, you can always say, oopsie, let me remind myself to come back to my body here and now. It's okay. I can focus on my breath. I can focus on what I'm feeling right now in my feet, legs, hips, spine, arms and shoulders. Noticing if there's tension in my mouth, in my jaw. And breathing to release. One more breath here. And slowly you can bring your head back to center. And begin to allow the left foot to help you pick up. You can bring the knees back around, uncross. You can take a knees to chest hug. You can bring the legs nice and long, up overhead. Release. You can experiment with ankle rolls, playing with the toes. You could also take a full body stretch. All of these are your options. Feet planted again to the mat, hips distance apart with the legs, arms open to T, parallel with the shoulders. Let's pick up the left foot side, take the outside of the left ankle to the right thigh, just below the knee, finding a figure 4 on this side. Your options here to keep the right foot planted, to prop it up on a block, or to come up higher, feeling a little deeper sensation. Kept your right foot down and you don't need to support the legs as much. Play around with what you'd like to do with the arms. They could be out to T, in cactus, up overhead nice and long, or maybe you just feel more secure having them at the belly, feeling the flow of the breath. Perhaps that helps you stay more connected to your experience. Practice the pause. When angry, pause and allow the intensity to lessen. Practice the pause. When overwhelmed, pause before choosing the next most important step. breath here. We'll all meet with our right foot down to the mat. If you had a block, just scoot it over. Open the arms back out to T to give you space. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, let the right knee and the left foot go together towards the right side. Setting down. Finding this bit of a twist. Once again, if this is really strange or uncomfortable in the wrong way, you can release the left ankle and stack the knees and legs together in a bent position. And your gaze can be straight up or turn it toward the left, opposite direction from the knees. Practice the pause, presence, awareness, understanding, and space for the experience. Practice the pause. When you are joyful, pause and breathe the fullness of that joy into your whole being. Practice the pause. When you are successful, savor it and give thanks. One more breath here. Slowly we'll bring our gaze back to center. And maybe you can use the right foot to help you start to come back up with the knees. Release the cross and find your release. Knees to chest, legs upward. Full body stretch, or even a happy baby, taking the knees outward to either side, the feet point upward, and you can grab behind the knees, at the ankles, at the feet. Slowly, we'll all make our way into our final shape, corpse pose, Shavasana. Surrendering the legs, surrendering the arms, adjusting the back shoulder blades very comfortably to be nice and flat. Surrender to the mat. Relaxing the whole of the body here. For for our final shape of the practice, shape of surrender, the shape of no effort, no doing, no being, no holding, nothing. Shape of being no one, planning nothing. May each breath that you take allow you to surrender just a little more. Slowly begin to bring awareness again to your breath and to deepen that breath, taking a little bit deeper inhale and a little bit longer exhales. And then gently begin to very kindly move some fingers or toes, ankles or wrists, or gently turning the head side to side. And then slowly you can make your way onto the side body. We're finding that side fetal position, knees bent, a position of new beginnings, new births, new opportunities. And while you're here taking just a few breaths, return to that intention you said at the beginning of the practice. And say it again in the present tense to yourself, feeling it, living it, feeling grateful for it. We'll slowly make our way back up to seated. Meet with our hands at heart center. Take a moment here to bow your head and honor and respect yourself for your practice. And honor the others around you for sharing their practice with you. Thank you so much, each of you, for sharing your practice with me. I hear you, I see you, and I feel you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.